Back to another episode of L Bins. We're going to talk about last night. We're going to work out what's going on. How is there any solutions? Do we have in-house solutions until we get to January? We'll chop it up, man. See what's going on. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to Nobbins. Link is in the title of the stream, guys, making it super easy for you. And let's get some shout outs in the building, man. We need to try and keep the energy high, man. So get some yeses in the chat and we'll give you some shout outs. And we'll see who's in the building. Big up to AJ. Big up to JSHDJSN. Big up to Ollie Smith. Sub Hottie. Musa just says we're shit. Big up to Mustafa, GXLY, Links, Ted, Nax, Staffy, Sarah, Randy, Rob, Herbal, JFL Footy. Good to see you, bro. Good to see Jay. I have two dads. Chris Howard, Aravind, Jay Claus, Ewan, Marshy Boy. Good to see you guys, man. Make sure you are smashing these likes up if you've not done so already. Good to see you. Make sure you're smashing the likes, subscribe to the channel. I did catch, obviously, a little bit of your stream last night. I was sort of like flicking through, see what people were saying, and I did hear sort of some of the stuff that you were saying after the game. But why don't you give me a bit of a summary first, and then we'll get into the sort of the details
of the game specifically.
Yeah, or if you want to focus on like the second half meltdown collapse, it's up to you.
It's such a shame, isn't it? Because I do feel like there were some positives there. I thought the first half was really good. You know, I think on another day that we could have scored a few goals, you know, like 2 or 3. And maybe on another day, the game's over by half time, you know, because we're 3 goals up. As it was, so, I mean, there was a sort of story of our season last season in a similar phase where we just couldn't. I'm thinking of games, you know, against Chelsea, against Liverpool, against Spurs, where we just couldn't kill off games. It was like a sort of similar sort of vibe in that first half, but it was still promising. I know we conceded a very frustrating goal and a very frustrating one-on-one chance where Gyökeres somehow just chipped it into Ederson. But apart from that, I was really happy with the first half. Overall, there were still some issues, but overall, I thought we played really good offensive football. Defensive, obviously, we know it's still an issue. And then second half, we just didn't give ourselves a chance because we opted to implode within 90 seconds or something. Like we were 2 goals down or something ridiculous, or a goal down and a penalty down. It was insanity. And then from there, Sporting can sit back a bit more, obviously, because now they're 2 goals to the good for free out of nowhere. Now all of a sudden there's less space to work in, and they congested the centre a bit more, so it made it more difficult for us in general. And we know the issues in terms of the systemic issues, but I guess what disappointed me the most last night was also just weird individual defending as well. There's no need for Gvardiol to give the ball away and then give away a penalty. I think that was his worst game in a City shirt, Gvardiol. That is easily his worst game. Nunes, even, I don't know why he's trying to dribble it out of his own area and then subsequently commits the foul.
That's why, by the way, that little bit there on Nunes is why you don't see him in midfield.
I said that live.
If you're wondering why you don't see Nunes in midfield, I know he wasn't in a midfield sort of area, he was in the penalty area or whatever. That is why. Because he's not trusted on the ball. That's why Pep just sticks him on the left wing and says, you're fucking fine up there. Because if you lose the ball up there, it's no problems.
Exactly. And that was maybe the worst thing that could have happened yesterday, because as we'll discuss, he's really one of the only solutions to our problems. But when he does stuff like that, he doesn't endear himself to Pep in that way. And also, all of that added together, it was also just one of those nights where like Haaland misses a penalty when we're 3-1 down. Now, there's a world where it's 3-2 and the team are riled up and maybe they go and equalise or even go and win the game in another world. But it was, in addition to it being a very weird second half performance, it was also just one of those days generally where we miss penalties and we give away 2 penalties in a game. And again, first half we miss extremely, for the quality of our players anyway, favourable and easy chances. But this has been coming, and we've been saying this when we beat Fulham. We were saying this when we drew against Newcastle. We were saying this when we lost against Bournemouth. It's the exact same issues that are materialising. every single game, basically,
Mm.
since the Newcastle game, essentially.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. For me, yeah, like I don't even know what the solution is. I tweeted this yesterday, and I've spoken about like what I'd consider doing, but what I'd consider doing is a Hail Mary approach. You know what I mean? I've considered maybe do you play Nunes as a 6 and play De Bruyne and Foden and just go for it? But that is Hail Mary. Are we really in
Mm.
Hail Mary situation? Well, not really. We're second in the league. We're a couple of points behind Liverpool. However, we could find ourselves in a Hail Mary situation real quick because our fixtures are really, really tough.
Mm.
Really tough. We've got Brighton at the weekend. That you're not going to find any City fans saying we're going to slap them up. Yeah, because they're a good side and the way they play football, again, are quick, and we're vulnerable to teams that move the ball quickly. Really vulnerable. That's actually one of the reasons why I think we kind of did well against Southampton, because they actually moved the ball really slowly. Now, we did take a slightly different approach. We spoke about this on Monday in the sense that we were much deeper at times against Southampton. We made it difficult for them to play through us, but they're also a slower team. If you look at the way Brighton play through the midfield, bro, like we could get sliced and diced on Saturday. It's really up there as a potential option. And then you look at the games after the international break. You know, we got Spurs, another team that moves the ball really, really quickly. Liverpool, the same. So I do think that we need to try and find out a solution for this, and we need to find out really, really quick. The problem is for me, Nobbins, is I really struggle to look at an obvious solution. You know, we can move Nunes into the 6 or whatever, but he's going to lose the ball, man. There's a reason why Pep Guardiola's not played him there, is because he's not good enough on the ball. Yeah, I mean, he'll lose the ball, right? Now, maybe you just say, well, it don't matter if he loses the ball because at the moment it's so bad. Our midfield is so bad. We have zero pace in that midfield that it's irrelevant. We just have to accept the risk that, we might lose the ball and screw us. Now, there are things that you can do. You can tell him to maybe not have his back to goal. Yeah, well, when he's receiving the ball, that would hopefully reduce the risk of him sort of turning into a player. You can maybe alter the way that you play. Maybe you go a little bit more direct rather than playing out from the back all the time and putting Nunes in that situation. You just go long a bit more, which we have done in the past. And you've got the world's best goalkeeper to do that in Edison in terms of ball playing ability. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man, in terms of like how we go on from here. I struggle to see exactly what we do. My approach is a Hail Mary approach, and I don't, maybe I'm just speaking with sort of like I just can't be asked anymore, so just full send it. But
Yeah.
Then I run into another problem. My left wingers, I'm really, really uninspired by Doku and Grealish at the moment. Really uninspired, and I don't really want to move Nunes out of that left wing position because I think he's playing quite well. Do you play Jacob Wright? Do you just say go for an academy player? I thought he played all right when he come on against Spurs, but then you're throwing Jacob Wright into there. What's he going to do? So I don't know, man. I don't know what the solution is. I know what the solution is, but I literally to buy Zubimendi. Yeah, that's the solution. Yeah, maybe another midfield player if we can get to him, but that doesn't solve my November/December months, which are crucial for the season.
Yeah. It is. If we don't sign that player in Jan, then as we've discussed, I'm very strongly of the view we don't win the title. I think it's a lot worse than anyone could have thought. I don't think, people were rightly saying we might struggle yesterday. I don't think anyone was saying we're going to lose 4-1, for example. So I think it's worse than basically everyone thought. Clearly, it's a lot worse than Pep and the board thought. Otherwise, they surely would have signed someone. And yeah, you're spot on. There is no immediate fix that I can see. There are solutions which could help mitigate the issue, but nothing's perfect, nothing's ideal, and nor can it be outside of Rodri miraculously healing. But that was obviously not going to happen. Pep seems set in this system, which is just making the issues worse as well, which is very confusing. It's like we've got an issue and Pep is just compounding it by continually setting us up like that. It's very odd. Although to be fair, last night a lot of it was down to just individual errors, but still, in general, that's still the correct thing to say, I think. And it's obviously not helped by the injuries. We know that. We don't even know what this exact injury situation is, though. It will improve, when Diaz comes back into the team, maybe Stones, even like a De Bruyne, because it might get to the point where, as you mentioned, you blow a team away and then maybe win the game before it's even properly started, sort of thing. But there is no immediate solution. And that sounds pretty terrible and full of dread, but we've got to be honest. And there isn't one, to be honest, which is sad.
No, I know. And now we've got this added complexity and confusion about what's going on with De Bruyne. You know what I mean? Because like this is starting to wind me up a little bit now, because I'm watching a player who's the greatest player to ever play for this football club, in my opinion, right? In Kevin De Bruyne. He's been training with us now for how long, Craig? That was 4 weeks, right? He was then on the bench against Bournemouth, didn't come off the bench, even though Pep said he could have played 15 minutes. He then played 6 minutes last night. Yeah, 6. When we're 4-1 down, what's all going on there? Right? Then he's apparently had a Barney with one of the coaches, not said anything to the away fans and just stormed down the tunnel. And I'm like, what is going on here? What is actually going on? Like, we need to sort this out. And for me, I'd start De Bruyne on Saturday. I don't care if I'm being told as a fan, that KDB's had the sign off from the doctors and that, which apparently is what people are saying. Craig said it in the chat, Why am I not starting him? Start him.
Yeah.
I know he was shit when he come on. He was crap, mate. I'm very aware of that, but that was his first game since Inter Milan, which was 2 months ago. I'd do. You say it's not a conspiracy; he's just obviously nursing an injury. But that's not what we're being told, though. That's not what we're being told. We're being told that he's fine. You got to connect the dots together. We're being told that he's fine. That he's had the scans and there's no problems. Right? He's been in training 4 weeks. Right? He's not on the bench for any games. Pep Guardiola says there are certain players that are basically fit that are not training, that are not playing for us, who don't want to play. And then he's on the bench for the next game. Then he could have come on. We're 2-1 down. We need a goal against Bournemouth, right? Who do you bring on? I'd say who to bring on. The greatest creative player that's ever played in this league. He don't come on. Then you say, maybe he wasn't fit. And then Pep after the game says he was fit. Oh, so he was fit. He could have played 15 minutes. Yeah, he actually said that. He said Kevin De Bruyne could have played 15 minutes. You don't bring him off the bench against Bournemouth when we need a goal. And then last night he brings him on at 6. And people say he just wanted some minutes. He's want to get some minutes in his legs for Brighton. Like 6 minutes, he's going to do anything at all. 6 minutes? Bro, 6 minutes. What we're talking about, 6 minutes on the pitch last night is going to do absolutely jack shit for him.
Yeah, bizarre.
And this is the thing. Listen, Kirby, I agree, bro. You don't think there's going to be a problem, but like when you actually connect the dots and you just look at it and remove the emotion, and then he's had that Barney apparently with a coach and then stormed down the tunnel.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know obviously what's going on. We need clarification on it though, don't we? Like, as fans, it's not nice to be kept in the dark. We need to know because look, De Bruyne coming back doesn't. In fairness, De Bruyne coming back, I don't think it's going to help as most people think. So it's not going to fix our defensive woes. Like De Bruyne's not going to offer recovery pace in the centre, like a Nunes, for example. It will obviously make us better going forwards, but as of right now, creating chances isn't the issue for City. Converting chances has been the issue in recent weeks, and more importantly, the defensive side of things is the issue. So obviously we do need De Bruyne back, of course we do, but if people think that he's going to be the saviour for this slump that City are in, outside of a system change, they're going to be very, very disappointed because De Bruyne coming back doesn't help us out defensively.
It doesn't, but that's why I'm in this position.
You just want to full send it.
I'm in the position to say just full send it because I don't see what other options I've got other than playing maybe Nunes at 6, which I would do anyway. That would be my full Hail Mary. But like you're gonna have to play Kovacic there, innit? Because he's probably the best at what we've got for me. You could play Gundogan there, but he's just so slow. Like I don't know, man. Remember, Gundogan wasn't meant to be doing what he's doing. Even Kovacic, if you think about it as well, Kovacic isn't meant to be doing what he's doing. When we bought Kovacic last season, we was meant to get him alongside a Bellingham, alongside a Rice, alongside a Lucas Paqueta.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't meant to come in and play every game. Now, as it happened last summer, we missed out on all our targets, ended up with Núñez, which was a panic buy. Yeah, that's not worked out one bit, even though he's looking decent on the left wing, but it's still a failed transfer because he was meant to be a midfielder, right? So we end up getting Kovacic. Kovacic plays last year, and you know what? For the large part, Kovacic done really well last year, right? And I think he's probably been a good signing, right? But he wasn't meant to play all the games that he was meant to play last year. He was meant to be a squad rotational player because Gundogan left, right? Then this summer, we don't sign anyone. We ended up signing Gundogan, right? And again, he's another player that should be a squad rotational player. Now, the problem that we've had, and listen, this is an unfortunate situation, is that if Rodri didn't get his ACL injury, the squad wouldn't be perfect, but it's probably enough to get through the season because Kovacic and Gundogan, between them, can wing it as a 6 throughout the season for the odd couple of games. And that you can't argue the facts there because we have done that. We're second in the league without Rodri. He's played 20 minutes for us. So that's a fact. I'm giving you facts here. The problem is, can they do that for a full season because Rodri's got an ACL? No. Now, can you plan for that? Probably not. You can't plan for a player to get an ACL injury. But at the same time, like, should you be in a position where if one player goes down, your whole team just turns into chaos almost, and just just ridiculous? I don't know. So yeah, clearly the board and obviously Tiki, who's the sporting director, have had a bad 2 transfer windows. That's clear. It is unfortunate. I think 2 seasons ago that the transfer window was very difficult for us. We tried to sign players, we just got rejected by everyone. And then this summer, he probably just thought, we'll just wing it with Kovacic and Gundogan and that'll be fine. And it probably would have been fine had Rodri not got an ACL.
But we were going to wing it without Gundogan, weren't we? As well.
Well, I fucking hope that's not true.
Oh, I thought that was confirmed. I thought it was.
Is that confirmed? We wouldn't have signed anyone if we didn't get Gundogan.
I thought it was. I might be wrong, but
when did we sign Gundogan?
I thought the understanding was that Gundogan just happened to fall into our hands, and that actually the club were happy to not sign.
You're probably right. We signed him on the 23rd of August, which is a week before the window. So yeah, you're probably right.
It doesn't scream of a pre-planned transfer, does it? So that tells me that City were happy to not have Gundogan. So obviously, Gundogan's not started this season very well, but let's imagine how bad the situation would be if we didn't even have Gundogan as an option in the middle. It might be even worse.
That's why, for me, bro, I'm looking at our transfer activity, right? And I just don't really understand what the plan has been. Obviously, like I say, we can go back to 2 seasons ago, right? And go, you know what? We got unlucky there. You know what I mean? You go for Bellingham, miss out. You go for Rice, miss out. You go for Paqueta, miss out. You end up with Núñez, who's a panic buy, right? You could say that's slightly unfortunate. What I don't understand there is if you miss out on 3 targets in a summer, which we did, because we missed out on Bellingham, Rice, and Paqueta, and I'll say, listen, that's not really on the board that much. Yeah, that's just unlucky. Like, you've missed out on all 3 targets. Surely the season after, you go and get your player that you want. You say, yo, we are not getting fucked again. And you got, but we didn't do that. We ended up with Gundogan, who we would never have signed it unless he had that situation. Just seems very, very strict. I don't know what we were doing in the summer. I don't know what we were doing. Like, looking back now, I'm like, well, what the hell was the plan? Did we have a plan?
Well, we were willing to spend around 100 million on Rice because we put a bid in, didn't we?
João Neves as well was right there for 60 million euros.
And that's why I don't understand, because, again, going to like Ornstein or whoever it was, we put in a bid of, say, like 95 million. So, round up to 100 million. So we were willing to spend around 100 million on a midfielder who we thought would be like the solution to the problem. So it's not a case of, penny pinching outright, because we were willing to spend that much money. but since then we've gone backwards, despite like big sales and despite the problem being worsened and exacerbated. And so I don't really understand. We obviously spent 50 million on Nunes, however much it was, as we've outlined, as a midfield signing that has thus far failed. That tells me that there is at least surely in their head at least another 50 million slots to at least throw somewhere else. If they're willing to spend 100 and spend around 50 on Nunes, surely in their heads they can spend another 50 to try to solve this issue or a similar amount. So I don't really understand. I don't understand the thought process. Everyone knows my thoughts on Bruno Guimaraes. Everyone knows my thoughts on João Neves. We seemingly weren't that interested. I don't really understand. Because with the Bruno one, for example, people go, oh, Newcastle captain, whatever. That's fine. But test the resolve, I don't even think we put a bid in, did we? Or I don't know enough about it. I don't even think we actually tried to test Bruno's resolve. You never know. The allure of working for Pep, he may have come. Why not at least try it out? It was a release clause. It was non-negotiable. I just don't get it. I do not understand at all.
No, it's definitely a strange one. Guys, smash these likes up if you've not done so already. The thing is on João Neves, the reason I said don't go get João Neves is because everyone told me that you're not getting him for less than 110 million. That's the truth on João Neves. I was
amazed at how cheap you went for.
I got told by everybody that you can't get him for less than 110 mil. Next thing, I see him at PSG for 60. I'm like, hang on a minute. I've just been told by people in the chat, people on Twitter, that you can't get this guy for less than 110 million because that's his release clause. So I was like, yeah, fair enough. I did a watch along. I did a scout along mission on this guy. I watched him. I watched him in the Europa League. The guy was fucking sick. He did the 6 on his own and was actually pretty good. And I was like, yo, he's decent, but he's not worth 110 mil. And then the next thing, I see him at PSG for 60. And I'm like, hang on a minute. I've just been told by everyone for the last freaking 2 months that you can't get João Neves for anything less than 110. He gets him at half the price. Like, well, we should have probably got him then. So I got misinformation there. People was giving me misinformation, man. Honestly, it was a madness. Right, let me go through some of these chats, man. Players collapse second half. We need a DM in January. Richie or Zubimendi. Yeah, listen, I'll say this though on Richie, man. I'm not sure he's the answer, if I'm being completely honest with you boys.
Yeah, Richie.
I don't think he's the answer. I think he could be a player that you could bring in alongside a Zubimendi as a squad player. But I don't know, man. Listen, I've watched him like 5 or 6 times now, and he doesn't look to me like the one. Zubimendi's the one. Can you convince him to get out of Real Sociedad?
Yeah, the player that we need has to be plug and play because they've got to come in Jan and they've got to hit the ground running and just be ready. So going after a player like Rich is probably not going to be it. Who would you'd like to learn from someone else, whereas someone off the level of and profile of a Zubimendi is as plug and play as you can get, probably.
Facts, 100%. Big Up Kean says, we played Rico in the treble season. It was a wake-up call to our senior players. Play Maka and Wright. They will die for the match. Did you see McAtee last night? He was not happy. Did you see him towards the end of the game? Got his chewing gum like boom, fucking slammed it on the floor.
I love McAtee. I didn't see that. I do like that reaction, though. The issue, though, is that McAtee, again, is not going to solve our midfield woes.
No, they're not. He's not going to solve our midfield woes, but the last sentence, they'll die for the badge. Do we at least put someone in there who's going to be like, yo, I'm going to fucking give everything? Not that I don't think some of these players are not giving it. I think a lot of them are trying, but maybe you just need to switch it up and just try something else.
I don't know if I'm convinced. I like McAtee as a player, but I'm looking. It's like, I think for me it's a choice between do you play McAtee or do you play Foden? Do you play McAtee or for example, you can't play McAtee and Foden and De Bruyne all in the same team. I think that would be insane. So, and I'm looking, obviously, if there's a De Bruyne issue that we don't know about, then maybe that's a different thing. But if De Bruyne is available and Foden's available, then you've got to play those two, I think. I don't think McAtee is going to get a sniff in that respect.
No, I agree.
Although I like him as a player a lot. I think he's very good, but he's not going to solve the problem.
No. Also, it is a mystery as to why he stayed because he's not getting any minutes. Bill Spartacus says, I understand high presses are non-negotiable, but the point of it is to force a long ball and win the second ball, but we don't have second ball winners. Facts. When we lose it, the midfield gets bypassed and the back line gets us ball. That's just fucking facts. That whole super chat is just facts. W's in the chat, man. That is a factual super chat right there.
Yeah, Spartacus and I have discussed this on shows before. Yeah, it's just insane. Don't get it. Makes no sense.
We have 0 ball winners, 100%.
It's like, when I raised that complaint a few weeks ago about, our defenders just hoofing it into the air, like when they had time on the ball. And it's like, well, normally a Rodri might win it, but we've got no one there to win it. It's like it's a similar thing. No,
100%. 100%. Big up Spartacus. Factual information right there. Amar says the squad has been neglected for years. Shambles. Yeah, the last 2 years. I think the last 2 years have been poor transfer windows, really, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, like I say, last window, I think it's you get away with it. Rodri getting an ACL has completely killed it. But if you forget about the ACL, it's irrelevant. The last 2 transfer windows have been poor. And the fact is, the last one was poor. We spent 25 million quid. So when you spend 25 million quid, it's highly unlikely to be a good transfer window anyway.
Yeah, I liked the players that we brought in. I'm very happy bringing in Savio, for example. I think that he's a really good signing, but it is very neglectful in terms of how we have neglected the biggest issue in the squad, in the team, with Rodri or without him. Even last season, we were talking about how Rodri's being isolated, not getting enough support in the middle. But because he's Rodri, we still won the title. It wasn't ideal, but we got away with it. But that had to get addressed in the summer, and it didn't, obviously.
No, I know, it's crazy. And the thing is as well, the season before last, it's not that we didn't spend money, bro. We spent 259 mil. Do you know what I mean? But that's euros, by the way. So whatever that is in pounds. One of them, Gavardio, great signing. Nunes, which was a panic buy. Doku, at 60 mil euros, who's, I don't know, man, if this is going to be a long-term player for us at this current point. You know what I mean? Willing to give him time. But at the moment, does he look like the best club in the world? Because that's what we are. Us and Real Madrid. Does he look like that player at the moment? Not really. Kovacic, that was probably a good signing. We needed someone like that. And then obviously the money for Echeverri, which was 20 mil, which obviously he comes into the team in January. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to Echeverri coming in. And I know we've got problems in terms of, you just mentioned McAtee, where McAtee can't get in the team. Where's Echeverri going to play? But I just feel like his energy, man, could be something that we could use in that midfield. Big up to LB, says the sun will shine on us again, boys.
Okay, it's not that bad, to be fair. Like, we have, I know we've lost 3 in a row, but one of them was in the League Cup, which was a throwaway game where I don't think any of us really cared. And the Bournemouth game was horror. And I know yesterday wasn't great, but if we're going to lose 4-1, I would rather it be in a league phase game in the Champions League than the Premier League, in fairness.
No, 100%.
It's not the end of the world.
No, I agree.
It's bad, but it's not horror.
Yeah, what it does do, it puts pressure on these next 4 games. Now, we should be beating Feyenoord at home. We should be beating Bruges at home. But that Juventus game and PSG game away, that is now, they're probably must-wins, to be honest with you.
I don't know, because it's obviously the first time we've done this format, so a precedent hasn't been set. I don't know what is a good enough points haul to get top 8.
I'm going off sort of like 18, I reckon. 17, 18.
Yes, just because when I was looking at the points, I was like, okay, I reckon we'd win those 2 and then draw the other 2. So that would only be 15. Excuse me, that would only be 15.
I just don't. Well, if you think about it, right, we're at the halfway juncture now in the league, in the league phase, guys, not the Premier League, Champions League, yeah. And you're probably looking at 9, 10 points at the halfway stage. Because currently the teams in 6th, 7th, and 8th are all City. We're on 7, but the team in 7th, 8th, even 9th, they've only played 3 games. They play tonight, so if they win their game tonight, they go to 10 points, which means after 4 games, the minimum you need is 9 points to get in the top 8. So if you just double that, it's 18.
So we need to win at least one of the Juve or PSG games. Then
I think you need to beat Feyenoord. You need to beat Bruges.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You need to win one of the other games against PSG or Juventus, and then maybe a point in the other game.
Yeah. If we win 3, that gives us 18 points, doesn't it? Or is it 17? It might be 17 points. No,
That, yeah,
18.
I don't know.
Something. I think
But
3
yeah,
wins will be enough.
I think 17, 18 is where you need, because
Yeah.
although these teams are on like 9, you know what I mean. I think some of these teams will drop points, so it's going to put pressure on those games, man, and it's unnecessary pressure. But yeah, like you say, at least it's a Champions League game, not a league game, because like Premier League game, man, we can't afford to fall any further behind Arsenal. We really can't. Big up to Stallion, who says any player we sign will look worse compared to Ballon d'Or Rodri for a temporary fix. How about trying a Kanji or Gvardiol in the middle? Stones, biscuits. Listen, I'm fully against playing Stones in the middle anyway, because I just don't think it's going to work. A lot of people seeing him invert into midfield and just say, put Stones. I don't personally think that's viable. I just don't. Gvardiol, maybe. Akanji, I don't see Akanji being an option. I think the only player there out of that list is probably Gvardiol. But even then, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's hard because there's no precedent for it at City, because Gvardiol's obviously never played centrally for City out of possession, and that's the key. There's no doubt he can do it on ball. The question's always going to be off ball. You know, we saw, and I know it's an extreme example, but we saw yesterday he got done. You know, for example, that would get exacerbated centrally. The issue is never what are his qualities in possession. It's always going to be out of it. There is a world where it can work, but it comes back down to the idea that it's so different trying to play in the midfield with ball than without. You know, we saw Trent at the Euros. It's not his fault. He's not a midfielder. We saw Stones against Aston Villa last season. That was the only time he did it, I believe. It's not his fault, but he couldn't do it. Even if we could rely on Stones to do it, he's injured. He might get injured. Well, no, he will get injured again.
He will.
So it's even if we can mold Stones into that role, it might not even be a viable long-term solution. And Gvardiol again, do we really want to be experimenting with that given our current issues? I don't know.
Yeah. Big up, couple more to go through. Big up, guys. Big up, cool guys. Says saw the game really poor defensively, not finishing our chances. Don't feel Pep was wrong completely. And poor performance individual at Nunes and Gvardiol. Haaland, the pen did it for me. Says a cool guy. Don't feel Pep was in the wrong completely. Nah, I don't think Pep's. The only thing I thought Pep was got wrong was the subs. That's it. The starting 11 was pretty chill, to be honest with you. Like, I would have played Nico O'Reilly, but I've told you that from a while ago over this double pivot of Kovacic and Bernardo. Everything else was fine. The starting 11 was chill. It was just the subs were a little bit baffling for me. Big up Mank Ninja says, "I City holding back because of 115." Well, you'd have to say no, because we spent 259 million last year. We tried to get Bellingham on top of that.
Million.
Yeah, we tried to get Rice and Bellingham on top of that 259. Yeah, this summer, weird. Can't explain it. We spoke about it earlier on. We can't explain why we didn't buy one of these players in this transfer window. But can you really say if we were willing to spend 359 million quid last year that we're holding back because 115? Yeah, this summer was weird. Maybe this summer they've changed their approach because of 115. I don't know, but it seems a little strange that they would be willing to spend 359 last summer, but then the summer just gone. They're like, no, we can't spend any money now because of 115. Just doesn't seem viable to me. And then you throw in everything that's going on with the stadium and that, the 300 million they're spending on that. It doesn't seem likely. Maybe it is. It doesn't seem likely. The cool guy says, should McAtee leave this summer? He should leave in January, bro. In my opinion, City FC made a big mistake letting Palmer and Lavia go. It's a big L for our club. Pepper has shown more interest. McAtee should 100% leave in January because he's not playing. His career's dying here because he's not playing. He needs to leave. And I think, looking at how he was on the bench yesterday, I think he will demand to leave because there's no point in staying until the summer.
The issue for him is that we're not currently set up to give him a chance. That's the issue. If it's like Rico Lewis, as you and I have discussed, he shouldn't really be playing right now. And that's not because he's not good enough. That's not because he's not ready, because clearly he is first team quality. Clearly he is. But the way that we find ourselves in respect of our injuries and squad composition, it's not a good atmosphere for a Luiz to be starting. It's not a good atmosphere for a McAtee to be starting, because again, if you're starting McAtee, unless you're starting him out wide, which is, you know, fine. But if we're talking about playing him centrally, that means that you can only really do that if you drop a Foden or a De Bruyne. Now, in fairness, with De Bruyne being out, I wouldn't be against the idea of, you know, getting rid of, not getting rid of, you know, benching a Bernardo, starting a McAtee. I think that could be interesting. But when De Bruyne's back, there's not really going to be a choice, is there?
Have you seen this, bro? Fast breaks conceded by Manchester City.
Doesn't surprise me.
Look at that.
It's like there's a, I know big chances is a very bad stat because it's all incredibly subjective, but if you look at, you know, like City's, I think it was like Mark stats, and he did like, you know, games where City have conceded 5+ big chances in a game, and if from like 2019, there were some seasons where we did 0. There were some seasons where it was 1, 2. This season, it's already 2. So we've already equaled our worst season since like 2019 in terms of that. It's obvious what the issues are, and this is why I you know, I understand that, you know, offensively there are some issues, obviously, but, you know, when people say like the main issue is that City can't score goals, well, no, clearly the main issue is that defensively we are, and it stems from the midfield, we are so easy to get at, and we are so frail, and it's no surprise, and everyone is seeing it. No one looks at City's current iteration and goes, "Oh, this is going to be a long day. We're going to lose 3 or 4-0 here." It's like, no, they go, stay in the game. We can get at these. They're not going to finish their dinner. We're going to get them on the break, and we can do these. We are now vulnerable, and we are frail, and we've lost that fear factor, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%, man, and I think it's obviously just frustrating now because like there doesn't appear to be any just like obvious solutions. Like you can come up with a solution, and then there's always another issue. And I know this is just the situation that we're in. I'm not an idiot. I know that we're just gonna have to try and just wing it until we get to January. But like, bro, like these fixtures coming up now. They're tough, man. We got the hardest freaking fixtures coming up after this international break. And this is why I said in the last break, this period of games that we've just had, I really wanted to see our performance levels increase because I'd seen the fixtures after this international break. We're in the thick of it. Now, some people might say we need to play these games. We need to play the big teams. Because maybe in the bigger games, maybe they'll play differently against us. We might not face the same issues. The players will rise the game because they know they've got to rise their performance levels because of the opponent. I don't know. But we are now in the situation where at the end of November, at the end of December, we could be out the title race, you know, because of the fixtures that we've got. If we're still in it, first of all, I think that's a brilliant job by the players and Pep Guardiola, considering our current situation, considering the players that we have, considering the vulnerabilities we have in midfield. If we're still in the title race in January, I think we've done a brilliant job. And then the board should 100% react. But this is it now, man. We are going into the thick of it, yeah. And we just got to find a way through. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, and I don't like saying this because I said I didn't want to say this after this break, but performances are sort of like irrelevant now until January. We just need to pick up points. Like, that's just the facts. And I've had to change my tune because I've now come to the realization that this is bad. This is bad. Like, it is bad. Like, no one's going to tell me that this is just not that bad. Our midfield has a serious problem. You know what I mean? So I'm now not even looking at I'm looking at results. We play shit and win. I don't care now. I'm just like, get me to January.
Yes.
Get me to January and be a serious club and go buy players.
I agree, and that's how, you know, if I was in charge of City, that's how I would view it as well. I'd be like, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that light is in the form of a signing, and the end of the tunnel is the 1st of January. The issue is, and this is why I've got a bet with you, and you'll owe me a pint if we don't sign anyone. I don't think we are going to sign anyone, and that is insane. But my instinct. And by sign someone, I mean like a first team 6. I'm not talking about fucking squad player or whatever.
Okay.
I've got no faith that we sign this player because
worst case scenario, we get Richie.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not full of any confidence that we will sign someone. because we should have signed someone in the summer, and we
I
didn't.
think worst case scenario we get Richie.
I'll take a body. I'll take a body at this point. Anyone who is an upgrade, that would be nice. But I'm just not. I can't be full of any confidence. And I know that we won the title last season. That was lovely. But I was right to be concerned, and we were right to be concerned about the Alvarez experiment. It didn't work. We only won the title because we ditched it. So Pep clearly thinks that the squad's good enough, or the board think the squad's good enough. Hopefully, they have a similar change of heart as they did last season and go, actually, this isn't working. We need to change it ASAP.
Yeah.
But again, I've got the evidence doesn't tell me that we're going to do that. So I'm going
By
to
the
be
way,
pessimistic, to be honest with you.
a good game that you guys might want to watch. Yeah, it's on after this. It's on after the City game at the weekend. Torino play Juventus on Saturday night.
That's a double scout watch along then.
It's a double
our future
scout.
Opponents.
Yeah, I think they start at 7:45. We play at 5:30. So once we've had our meltdown from the inevitable loss, probably, you can go watch that. Torino versus Juventus. Like Nobbin said, it's a sort of double watch along because we play Juventus anyway. So if you want to see what Juventus are playing like, you can watch that, and you get the added kicker of seeing Torino. I'm trying to find if it is defo.
You keep mentioning Craig. Sorry, I've never met Craig before. Is he in the know? Does he have insider information?
Torino's in the Torino. Fucking Craig is in the know.
Okay, if Craig's still here, hi Craig. First of all, I think we've met. How are you, matey? What's the background, Jen? What's the inside scoop in respect of Jan? Like, am I right to be pessimistic? Are the club? Can you reveal? Are the club looking at anyone? Do we know what the club's mentality is? Even in light of the Rodri injury, where do we stand? Is basically what I'd like to know. If you know, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. So the Juventus game is on at quarter to 8. 7:45
Right.
it's on this Saturday night. Juventus v Torino. So yeah, double watch along for you there, guys. You can watch Juventus, who we play in the Champions League, who we're going to need to win, and you get the added kicker of watching Richie as well. I did see this as well. Douglas Luiz apparently is available potentially on a loan deal.
Hasn't he just joined Juve, really?
Yeah, but apparently he's. I don't fully know what's going on. I didn't like read it all, but I just seen that pure headline saying Douglas Luiz. Like, I don't know if someone in the chat can let us know what's going on. He might be like a little bit more up to date with it. But apparently,
I'll take Douglas Luiz on a loan. Yes, why not?
Yeah, apparently he's so much going on. Apparently he's missed 3 last games with muscle fatigue. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, I've seen it loads. It was flying around Twitter yesterday. Apparently, like, the guy wants out, and then they might let him leave on loan. And of course, we did actually have him at one point, didn't we? We owned him. We owned him.
And Pep wanted to play him, but we couldn't get him. Oh my goodness! I'm now full screen for some reason. Good lord. Okay, I've morphed into. That was weird. Hello, you're right, mate.
I still not changed it. You know this button on the mouse.
Oh.
My back button. So whenever my fucking fat hand just clicks the button, it kicks me off the stream.
I was so confused. I was like, oh my goodness, okay, I'll take the floor. Pep wanted to play him, didn't he, Douglas Luiz? But
I believe so.
Couldn't get a work permit. That was the issue around that.
Couldn't get a permit.
Yeah, so, hey, he did well against us last season in Villa Park. Boom. Make it happen. Yeah. The reunion that we never thought we needed. We'll sign his lady as well if needed to make him happy. If that's what it takes, then that is what it takes. Yeah, we'll bring in Lehman. Yeah, for the ladies team. Smash it.
Big up. Let's have a look at some of these super chats, man. Big up to you guys. Shoei says, should we be all over Arda Güler? He's the one. Well, listen, my preference obviously would be Musiala or Wirtz. Arda Güler,
wide, isn't he a winger? Am I being stupid?
No, I think he can play anywhere across the front line, bro.
So he's a forward then?
Yeah, he's like a forward that can probably play left wing, centre, mid.
Yeah, that's not wing. That's not going to help us.
No, I think he's talking about KDB replacement.
Oh, I don't know nearly enough about him, to be honest.
Yeah, he had a sick Euros, to be fair.
He scored that screamer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He did.
that's all I
Although
know.
it kind of stinks as like, could he be the next Rodriguez? You know, he scored that sick goal for Ecuador.
Oh,
And then
yes.
Real Madrid signed him, and then he just was like, yeah, he wasn't it,
And
was
then
he?
disappeared.
Yeah, maybe he's going to be like that, but he looks promising. He does look like a talented player, and we need a Kevin De Bruyne replacement in the summer anyway, so we'll see what happens in the summer. I've seen this movie many times for me to panic until Pep shows otherwise. Stop moving like mutants and support the team, says Chicken Wing. Big up, bro.
He's not calling
Big
us
up.
mutants, is he?
Nah, Chicken Wing will never call me a mutant. No.
You
Chicken Wing.
specifically said me then. I asked us.
Wait,
Is he
what?
calling me one?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Me
It's
and Chicken Wing are mates.
It's just a bit sus when he would never call me a mutant. I was like, right, what about me?
No. But he would also never call anyone on the panel a mutant.
Okay,
Chicken Wing
right
is my mate. Yeah.
Joe.
Big up man says, how can you sell Alvarez and not properly replace his GNA? Yeah, facts. This was a terrible thing. Terrible. And this is why, guys, I always say, don't get overly gassed about how much the team sells players for. Yeah, because it means nothing to you as a fan. It means absolutely nothing. Yeah, so when, again, you see these people who are parading the net spend trophies and that, it means fuck all, mate. Like, spend the money. That's what I'm saying. And not to replace the striker and have Haaland as our only striker that is shocking. It's bad. It really is bad.
Yeah. Although, I will reiterate, it's not the reason why we're going through a bad spell right now.
It's not, but it's still bad.
Yes, it's not preferable. No. It's not optimal.
I don't think we went for Bruno G because of APT. We said it affected our sponsorship deals. Hence, we can't go out and spend 100 million on a player. Optics, says Massam.
But I don't understand. We could have spent around 100 million on Rice. I'm obviously missing a key factor. I don't know what I'm missing.
I think maybe if the club are thinking to themselves they're going to sue the Premier League and saying you're not letting us get the money in, and that's meaning that we can't be competitive. If we go and spend 100 mil on Bruno G, it doesn't really back up that statement, does it? Although to be fair, at the same time, we spent 259 million the year before. So it's kind of like, those just go, well, even though, you've only spent 25 mil, but you did spend 259 million last year, and you also tried to sign Rice at 100 mil, which would have been 359. So I don't think that's true.
Even if it was, I'd be very concerned that if the reason why we didn't go for a player was to almost make a point, you know, like, oh, we can't sign this player, therefore you've got to give us money, like... That's very juvenile.
Plus I don't know. Obviously, you're a lawyer, right? So the thing is, surely the law is the law.
I guess
like if the APT are illegal, then the APT is illegal. It doesn't matter who you sign.
I guess this comment's raising a point more so on like damages. I guess there's like you haven't really been damaged if you can still buy all these players. I guess it's the argument, but I've no idea how valid that is.
Yeah, big up for the final super chat from Stallion. It says, why didn't KDB clap the fans after the game? Don't know. I always say, any player that doesn't clap the fans that travel is a prick. Yeah, I'm just saying how it is. Yeah, I remember when I was at Monaco. I went to the Monaco game where we got dumped out there, and only John Stones came over to the fans, man, at the end and clapped. Everyone else just went straight down the tunnel, and it's a fucking disgrace. You know, I'm seeing MCFC lads today, 11-hour journey to get home, 11 hours. And they can't just come over and clap the fans. You don't have to come over for 30 seconds, walk over, clap the fans, walk off, 30 seconds, mate. You don't have to stand there for 20 minutes doing a fucking, doing the thing where they put the arms around each other. No one wants to see that. Yeah? It's got appreciation for people who spend the hard-earned money going over. It's difficult, if you've never been on these travels, a lot of these people, they don't just get a flight from Manchester to fucking Lisbon, because that costs dough. So they have to go from there to there to there to there to there. And it takes hours sometimes. Yeah, it's tiring, and they're spending the money. Yeah, and they've also taken days off work, some of these guys, which means it's going to hit them in the pocket even more. So for players not to go over to the away fans is unacceptable. It doesn't matter what club you're at. And by the way, this happens to every club at some point. Players will always do this, but it's unacceptable. Players need to go and appreciate the fans. I'm not saying stay there for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Just say go over, clap them, walk off. Fine. But that's not right, man. Can we also talk about Haaland's body language? He's always frustrated and complaining. I know he's gassed, but you missed the penalty, Erling. Listen, I think he just needs to do more a little bit. Yeah, you're right on his body language. Sometimes he doesn't look like he's fully involved. Last night, he did have chances. You can't say he didn't have chances last night. He had, sometimes we come away from a game, don't we? And he has 0 chances, and we're like, what can he do? Right? But last night, he had the chances to score. Even if you forget the penalty, he still had more chances. He had a couple of shots. One of them he blazed wide. Is it just because he's tired? Are we not creating good enough chances? I don't know, man. But yeah, I do feel like he does need to do a little bit more on the pitch. But at the same time, we're not fully creating. Like I say, for me, yeah, let's see what happens when De Bruyne's back in this team. For me, that's my thing. Like, get De Bruyne back in this team. Let's start creating high quality chances for Erling Haaland and see what happens, man. But there's a lot of problems that we just simply can't fix. Even like Nobbin said, even if you put De Bruyne back in the team, it's not going to fully solve. It might not even have any impact. You might argue it might make it worse. Our defensive transitions. But yeah, big up to you guys. Smash these likes up, by the way, as well. If you've not done so already, we've got over 1,000 people watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to Nobbin's link in the title.
I will be doing a. Sorry, I was just going to plug. I will be doing a video, hopefully out end of this week. It might not be until be after the Brighton game, but it will be like a deep dive, sit down, edited video where I run through the issues of this season, why what Pep's doing isn't working in more detail, and like what the potential solutions are. So that will be coming to my channel, hopefully end of this week. So stay tuned.
Yeah, big up, bro. Right, we move on to Brighton, bro, and I can't lie. I'm not looking forward to that game at all. Honestly, I'm not looking forward to that fucking game.
No. The good thing about Brighton, or historically the good thing about Brighton, has been that they are a side who, I know they've got a different manager, so maybe it's irrelevant, but historically they've been a side who will give us space, essentially. And they will give us.
We're going to get chances, aren't we, against Brighton?
In an ideal world, they are a team who don't mind giving you. Well, they might give you chances, but you know what I mean. They play in a way not that it's like perfect for us, but it would be preferable to play Brighton right now than Nottingham Forest away, for example, where they would just defend and hit us on the break with their incredibly fast players. I think Brighton's probably going to be an easier game, or rather a better game for us than, say, a Bournemouth, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
For example. So,
but it also could go very bad. Worse than
course it could.
Although I say that, Bournemouth could have beat us 4-5-0 anyway.
No, yeah,
the chances they had.
Definitely. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game by any means. Again, you could make the argument that Brighton are better than a Bournemouth or whoever. And it's more making the point that their style of play is at least a little bit better for us in terms of trying to score goals. Now, again, the issue will still be there in terms of we'll be bad defensively and we won't have any midfield presence. But there's a little bit of a glimmer there that maybe we can try to hit them on a counter-attack. And again, Haaland normally has good games against Brighton because they normally go man-to-man in terms of their marking as well. Normally, Haaland can isolate himself on one defender and then jobs are good. And we'll have to see if that's a similar thing.
You know, the thing is, right, and we're going to wrap up now, but like, the thing is, if we do beat Brighton, yeah, which is a big if at the moment,
yes,
we could be top of the league because fucking Liverpool play Villa, and that's not going to be an easy game, is it?
Yeah. If we win, I know that we've just spoken for nearly an hour about what's going wrong with the club and If we win, given it's not an excuse, but given the context of all the injuries and things that we don't know about, and players not coming back to full fitness and sharpness, I would argue that only losing one game against Bournemouth in the league is actually not terrible, in fairness. I know we got knocked out of the League Cup, don't really care. I know we lost in the Champions League, it's a league phase game. I'd actually argue it's not the end of the world. And the idea would be, now we've got the players back, and maybe we can do something better. So I actually don't think it's a terrible time. But as you say, that's a big conditional conjunction if we win.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a mad week, isn't it? It's going to be a crazy week. If we can get the win, well, we can potentially be joint top level on points or whatever.
Arsenal have got another hard game as well, haven't they, for example?
They play Chelsea away.
Yeah, so, hey, we might be back, lads. It is
100% a very big if, but if we can, And like I
Exactly.
say now, it's about results over performances now. It is. Until we get to
Exactly.
January, yeah, it's results over performances. And the thing is here, yeah, big up Joe as well. Here's the thing about Brighton, yeah. I want to see this team die on the pitch for us, man.
Mm.
Like, if you're going to get beat again off Brighton, at least come off the pitch where I'm going, you know what? They're giving everything on that pitch, man. They're trying. It's just we ain't got the personnel. We're just cooked until January. At least let me see that, man. Let me see that from you on Saturday. When that referee blows that full-time whistle, what all these players are dropped to the fucking floor because they're gassed out, man. They ain't got nothing more to give. Show us fans, yeah, that you are trying everything possible. Everything possible.
I do genuinely think that Stones and Diaz coming back into the team helped in that respect because...
Are they going to be available or no?
No, they're not. Sadly not. They're not available until after the international
with
break.
them, man?
I don't know what happened to them. But, again, Stones injury prone. But I'm not saying that the current players... And I'm not saying they aren't passionate. But what I am saying is Stones and Diaz are particularly passionate. It's John Stones especially. I feel like, and Diaz is like a leader there. So maybe if and when they come back into the side as well, because I think you're right. I think some players might need to kick up the arse, maybe. And I think that if those players are on the pitch, maybe they can help spearhead that mentality shift, perhaps.
Yeah. No,
I agree with you. So some players are, it's too easy. It's too easy. You know what I mean? In terms of like that, the way they. I mean, you mentioned De Bruyne not clapping the fans. I know it's only the League Cup, but why are Akanji and Haaland laughing as they're about to get knocked out of the League Cup? I know maybe I'm reading too much into that. I still don't like losing. I know it's only the League Cup. I still don't like losing. I still want my players to be annoyed, no matter the context of the game. Even if it's a dead rubber, I don't want you to be happy. I want you to be upset that you've lost a game. Have some pride. That's the way I see it.
No, so I've just checked, bro. So Stones has got a fasciitis splinter in his foot.
That sounds painful.
And Diaz has a muscle injury.
Yeah, I think Pep said they'll be back after the international break.
That's what this website suggests. Yeah.
Yeah. I want my players to... It's not going to happen, obviously. I need my players to go on strike and not go on international break. That's what I need to have happen. We can't
Pep sort of said that, didn't he?
Yeah. We can't afford anything. I need all my players back fully sharp and like using that week off to like recover, recuperate, and get back to full fitness, because we just can't afford further injuries. It's just getting insane at this point. We've got players who are officially out. We've had 5 out the past couple of games, but they've also got players who apparently aren't fit, even though they're starting on the bench. Like, I know that JSP had a really good game yesterday, but Ake's on the bench. If Ake was fit, he'd start, wouldn't he?
Yeah, so he's clearly
not
fit. Yeah, he's clearly not fit. So, to be fair, maybe Ake does need to play for the Netherlands because he needs to get some minutes because he's not been good since he's come back from his injury. Maybe get some match sharpness. But everyone else, you just like, please don't play, man. Please don't play. Right, that's it, man. Big Citizens, Pep's Pusey game was weak. This guy loves this. He loves it.
I in my watch along, I knew that was going to be an issue immediately. So within like moments, we opted for the initialism of JSP rather than.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, JSP. Yeah, like KDB, SWP, Sean Wright Phillips, KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, JSP.
I don't think my chat's mature enough to do that.
I'm not saying Simpson Poozy every single time, so it's JSP. It also sounds cooler as well.
I might rob that off you if that's okay, but I don't think my chat is going to go with that. My chat are much more childish than yours, bro.
That's reasonable. But I was like, no, we're not doing this, guys.
Bill Chicken Wing says Brighton have only beaten 1 in 5 games. Jinx. At least they have beaten us though, unlike Bournemouth, which was a complete jinx because they've never beaten us in their history. You know what I mean?
Is that right? Never beaten us?
Bournemouth had never beaten us before.
Breaking records this season. Madness.
Yeah. Right. Big up, guys. Make sure you drop a like on the stream. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Subscribe to Nobbins. Link in the title as well. I'm sure we'll have more streams throughout the day. Watch along wise, potentially. I think I am, but I just need to see what's going on with my own life in it. But if I'm not busy, then yeah, I will be doing them. So yeah, stay tuned anyway. Smash a like, subscribe. If you're watching back on replay, give us a give us your thoughts in the comments. Plug that video again. What video you've got coming out?
So it'll be a video which will be basically analysing all of our woes this season, why they're happening, why Pep's decisions not helping things, what are the potential solutions, like a deep dive analysis into that sort of thing. I'll also be live on Twitch tonight at 10 p.m. After all the Champions League football, if anyone wants to join. It's a more chilled out vibe, playing a game stream.
There you go. Okay, brilliant. Make sure you guys check that out. Link in title. Smash a like, subscribe, give us your comments in the comment section, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. See you later.